Mulan, Disney's newest live adaptation, kept getting pushed back due to the pandemic. It was released on Disney Plus for $30, and we were able to check it out.
Yes, we did, the social distancing backyard viewing of the new movie, and I had a lot of fun watching it, because you're kind of in your own setting, you're not at a theater, and it was a lot of fun. I think with the movie itself, I right off the bat, I will say that I really, really enjoyed the music. I thought the music hit the emotional cues that you're looking for in this movie, especially when you have subtle hints of the musicals that are the musical numbers from the animated movie, but they do it in an instrumental form, and I absolutely adored it. Especially there are certain times where you're like, hell yeah, like that's the song. Like I'm glad that they added or incorporated it in some way.
The action sequences were definitely well thought out. They were over the top, very Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, very mystical, and for that, it added that sense of fun to a story that I already knew, and just in terms of beat to beat, and pretty much it does follow beat to beat from the cartoon. So for me, there wasn't a whole extra added value in terms of coming back and watching a story I already knew. And in fact, there were certain things that played out in the movie where I was just kind of like, okay, I don't really feel like that added anything to what we got in the cartoon. And even having Eddie Murphy gone, of course, Mushu, I understand it's not a part of the story. Having that taken out, you're already kind of working with a missing part of the magic that was Mulan, and you're trying to fill it with the action sequences. And I thought they did a good job, but the fun for me really wasn't there. It really was more of a retelling with the Disney animated series. I'm having the same issue with all of them at this point, where it's like, I prefer the cartoon, but this is made for new audiences, maybe people that didn't get to watch the cartoon, the newer kids that are watching it versus someone like me.
It's true, because we grew up watching the animated versions of these movies, and really, when it comes to the live action versions so far, Jungle Book has been kind of the one that it's a go-to that I really like, but that's because, the animated version wasn't really at the top of my animated list when it comes to Disney movies, whereas Mulan was part of, that renaissance of Disney, along with, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin. It was very colorful to me in certain parts, and I absolutely love the color that they had for the story. Is vibrant, and then the costumes that they had, I love the costumes. But like you said before, it just felt like you were treading the same story, just retelling it in a different way. That you would think that the audience nowadays would enjoy. And as somebody who watched the old one, it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, I've seen this story before. I kind of want something new.
And it feels the same way saying this about this movie, because it's how I felt about Aladdin, it's how I felt about The Lion King, it's how I felt about Beauty and the Beast. Although Beauty and the Beast did have some elements that I did enjoy that felt fresh and new to me, but there were parts that were impactful to me in the animated version that I felt nothing in the live action version. So when it comes down to this one, like, I did not feel a whole lot of anything when I was watching it, with the exception of the admiration for the action. There was actually quite a bit of violence, and this was definitely a violent era for what was going on in the story. So I'm glad that they kind of stuck to their guns on that one and didn't try and, cut away every single time somebody was getting pretty much slain on the battlefield, fighting for their country. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad that they left all that in, but at the same time, I do feel like it was kind of like an easy battle, just in terms of the stakes weren't really that high, but that's because they felt much higher in the animated series for me. So maybe I already used up that emotion by watching the animated series as much as I did growing up.
True. So yeah, like, what really saved me for this movie though too was the music. The score. Right. I think that like I said before, the score is what really got me for this movie, where I was kind of locked in because of it. But like once you take the music out and you're just kind of following the same thing, you already know where Mulan is headed. it didn't do, and I hate to say, like, it didn't do what I wish it would do.
Right.
But no, like we said, a lot of the live action so far that they've been doing hasn't really hit in the way that we want it to, because we already felt that way when it comes to the animation. So if we were to pick this one versus the animation, you would kind of want to go towards the animation.
And that's why I really do think that all these remakes are not for us. They're for the new audience that have not watched it, or people that don't really care as much about the older movies as much as we do. Because Pete's Dragon, I say I don't like that the movie was basically the same. And yes, in Pete's Dragon, they changed it up quite a bit, and I didn't like that either. So I mean, it's just going back to these movies, and you're trying to tell a tale that I already enjoyed, loved, and experienced for years of my life. So therefore, I'm not the audience anymore. Right. It's a completely different kind of audience. I would not have paid $30 to watch this movie. I would definitely have been okay with waiting until December to watch it. But again, it depends on your love for Mulan, which I don't have a huge love for Mulan. A lot of films above it, just in terms of what I hold in the pinnacle of Disney's animation.
Right.
But when it comes down to it, really think about it before you drop that money on Mulan. If it's just because you want to watch it, I would say wait till December.
And it sucks too, because you want to celebrate and give support to all of the actors and the people behind this movie.
Absolutely.
And so that way they can go and be like, see, we can make this movie. It does seem very viable for us to do some more, because I would love to see these characters in a different movie, like have them do something else, have them have a new threat to go against, not just retread the same story, because I think that would be very interesting to see Mulan take on a different task.
It does feel like it's confined in the box of what Mulan is, and that's the original animated movie for us that have that experience.
Right.
But at the same time, if you took these characters and dropped them in a whole different setting, I would like to see where that played out. So I'm definitely open at this point. We got through the retread. Now I would like to see something a little bit more original, but that's not really what happens with these movies.
True, but at the same time, we did get a Maleficent too, so there is hope out there that they could bring these characters back in a live action form.
Yeah, and that's not making me confident either, though.
True, but I'm just saying that they did end up doing it, so I'm hoping that, maybe kind of realizing, like, we would love to see these characters again, we would love to see Belle, we would love to see Cinderella again, but in a different story to tell with them, live action.
It's tough.
That'd be great.
They still make their $1 billion per movie, so I guess it doesn't matter what we think. But what do you guys think? Let us know down in the comments below. My chair is starting to sing. You can also like and subscribe.
And do the thing on our Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, Stardust.
All the social networking gin joints, you know where they are. Kick into the party. Fuel the party. Keep the party going on our Patreon. Thank you guys so much. And wow, this might be a good look for me. That's how I feel like Beetlejuice. By the way, thank you guys so much. And as always,
now it's time to say goodbye.
This party is over. Bye.